Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. It's your buddy Rob Molina, back to you again with another episode. In today's episode, we will just show off a couple of things that I've had for a very, very long time. I would say over 15 years, maybe 20 years. I'm trying to think now, as a matter of fact. But as you guys know, definitely a collector of, Funko Pops, a collector of anime pops, collector of statues and figs, mystery minis. You've seen it all on my channel. But these particular figures, I scooped up a long time ago. If you guys have heard of The Hobbit, if you guys have heard of Lord of the Rings, you know what I'm talking about. These movies, once they were adapted and taken from the book as inspiration, these books definitely are different, experience for me. To take classic books like The Hobbit, to take classic books like Lord of the Rings, and to sort of make them into these grand scale movies was super impressive, was over the top cool. Yeah, when these figures came out, I had no choice but to, grab them all and scoop them up. So I'd like to show you some of the figures I've had for a very long time. So yeah, I guess we'll get into the first one. So as you guys can see, this is Gandalf, the wizard. This is before his transformation, before he becomes Gandalf the White. Yeah, it definitely looks cool. I've never taken these out of box. I've always just kept them in the box. The box has seen better days. It's a little damaged up, but these guys, I think I picked up at KB Toys. KB Toys was an American toy store that existed a while back. I mean, I don't think there's been one in existence for like 16, 17 years or however long it's been, but they were right up there with Toys R Us. And yeah, when I saw these guys in store, I wanted to grab them all. So yeah, I've got Gandalf, over here, rocking his trusty little grayish, dingy robe, and of course he's got his little wizard hat, and of course he's wielding his sword. But yeah, guys, very cool. I like it, and I'll show you the rest. My favorite character out of the entire squad is definitely Legolas. Played by Orlando Bloom, who's famous for Pirates of the Caribbean, of course. But Legolas was where it was at. He was, like the unofficial badass of the group. Quiet, unspoken, but definitely I would say like the deadliest out of all of them. As far as like skill set, definitely loved everything about him. Such a cool character, in the movies, portrayed awesomely by Orlando Bloom. But yeah, definitely my personal fave out of the entire group. But yeah, guys, as you guys can see, don't want to like not show it, but he's got a ton of accessories. Of course, he's got his bow and arrow, some additional bows, some additional arrows, I meant, in the packaging. So very, very cool. Maybe someday I'd like to take these out of box, or maybe someday I'd like to maybe I don't know, trade them away. I don't know, who knows. We'll see what happens. But here we have Gimli. So of course Gimli's, a master axeman. So of course he's rocking multiple axes. He's able to wield axes with both hands. So I guess he's ambidextrous. So I guess he's able to kick your ass with both of his hands while he chops you up and slices you up with these axes. So yeah, Gimli was another, sort of like very cool character. Definitely stood out from the rest. Kind of like comic relief, I guess, at times. But yeah, such a cool character. Yeah, like I said, everything about this movie was fantastic. The fact that I was able to grab all these when I could, way back when, I was definitely excited. Hopefully, with, the excitement and, the overall sort of like, anticipation for like all these movies, like hopefully they continue just making, maybe, more movies. I know they've kind of exhausted, the Lord of the Rings books, and obviously the Hobbit books. Definitely off the table now. Now they've made movies, but I guess they could make a sort of maybe offshoot, a spin-off of the series, which would be very cool. I would love to see that. Um, but here we go, guys. Before I ramble on, of course we have Samwise Gamgee. So of course another one of the sort of awesome characters in the movie. Yeah, I mean, I guess he's the unofficial, maybe sort of cook of the group, sort of like the sort of older brother, sort of like making sure that everybody's kind of like stays in check, sort of like I guess a worrywart of sorts. Yeah, definitely, definitely a cool character, played by Sean Astin in the movies. So Sean Astin's been around forever. I mean, he was a part of the Goonies, and he's been in a bunch of like 80s movies. So guy's been around for a very long time. But as you guys can see, he's got his like little cooking pan over here that he uses from time to time in the movie, just because he doesn't wield a weapon. But here in this figure, he does have like a little blade, a little knife that he's able to use, I guess, to fend off orcs. So yeah, guys, very cool. I like it. Okay, well, I guess we'll get into Aragorn, who's sort of like the unofficial leader of the group, sort of like thrown into that role. So it's played by Viggo Mortensen in the movie. Of course, plays a phenomenal part as Aragorn. So yeah, Aragorn is sort of like bestowed into this position. Basically thrown into this position just because the world itself is on the brink of extinction. Orcs are taking over. The world is just a very ugly place in Lord of the Rings, and of course, Aragorn sort of is like the beacon of light, sort of like that go-to guy that they all look up to. So yeah, very cool. Love it. As you guys can see, he's got like a ton of accessories. He's got his trusty sword. Of course, he's got his bow. He's got some spears. I mean, so this guy comes fully loaded. He's ready to throw down in battle with the best of them. So yeah. Oh yeah, we'll get into the two-pack over here. So we have Pippin and Merry. So or Merry and Pippin. So of course, Merry and Pippin are accompanied by an orc, and this orc, as you guys can see or cannot see, he's got like a little helmet in there that he, uses as part of his battle fatigues. But very cool. Of course, Merry and Pippin are both wielding, swords, and at the ready to, fight this guy. But yeah, the orcs were definitely a cool part of the movie. Definitely very savage, very fearsome foes. But these guys definitely handled their own. Definitely, held up their end of the bargain and kept fighting throughout the whole movie. So very cool. But yeah, guys, these are all from I believe KB Toys, and like I said, it was just an American toy store that existed a while back. So yeah, very cool. So yeah, we'll get into the reason for the Lord of the Rings books, and of course we have Frodo, and Frodo, of course, as you guys can see, has the ring that to rule them all, as they say in the book. His mission in the book is to basically throw this ring into I forget the name of the mountain in the book, but he's has to throw this ring that's embedded with some evil magic, and that could potentially extinguish humanity, extinguish human life as they know it on the world of Lord of the Rings. Sauron is the all-seeing eye. He's the sort of bad guy that wants his ring back. Of course, throughout the whole movie, Frodo has the ring, has it, throughout. But the longer he has the ring, the longer he wears it, the more erratic his thinking becomes, the more crazy he gets. I guess the ring itself is just embedded with pure evil. So throughout the movie, you can see like the transformation of him being like this lovable sort of like caring character, and then as the movie progresses, like the ring sort of takes hold of him, and basically just makes him just go nuts and go crazy. But yeah, this is very cool. It's got a bunch of accessories. It's got like sort of a, forest scene. He's got some trees on either side. But yeah, definitely a very cool thing to have. This is definitely the heaviest out of all of them that I've seen. And yeah, we'll get into the very last one. And of course, we have Boromir, played by Sean Bean. Of course, you guys know Sean Bean as, he was in Game of Thrones, and of course he portrayed, oh my god, why am I drawing a blank right now? Oh my god. Ned Stark. Of course, he plays Ned Stark in the Lord of the Rings series. And the funny thing about Boromir is Boromir doesn't necessarily make it to the second movie or the third movie. He meets his fate in the very first movie. I've always loved Sean Bean as an actor, but it seems like this poor guy, like anytime he portrays a role that you love him in, he sort of bites the bullet real quick, and lo and behold, you don't see him again. But yeah, very cool. I love this 2-pack as well. Of course, it's Lurtz, who's like, I guess one of the, sort of generals of the Orc army. So definitely a character that stands out. Of course, he's got like a little face paint over here, face painted white. And as you guys can see, Boromir has got, his sort of horn that he uses to send a distress call, or a call to battle. So very cool. Definitely love everything about it. Of course, we have the shield right here that I'm guessing Boromir uses. But yeah, like I said, guys, I mean, I loved this series. I love these series of movies as a young man, and definitely, got inspiration from watching these movies. I could watch them over and over again, and they were definitely the kinds of movies that sort of like brought the inner beast out of you. So, after watching those movies, you definitely like felt inspired. You felt like you wanted to battle some orcs and put on some, armor and wield a blade. So yeah, guys, So it's comment down below if you guys feel the same way about the Lord of the Rings movies. I would love to see a spin-off of the series now that Game of Thrones is sort of like non-existent anymore and not relevant. As far as being on TV at least. Maybe they should do something. Make a Lord of the Rings show just to fill that void. I think people like talking about orcs and trolls and dragons and stuff like that. I think we all have that like little kid inside of us, that loves and eats all that stuff up. But yeah, guys, comment down below what you thought of these figures that I've had for a very long time. Tell me if you even have any of these. I know KB was a thing here in the States, so comment down below if you've heard of KB toys. But yeah, guys, with that being said, I wish you guys the best. I hope to see you in the next vid, and if you like this video, like it, subscribe, share it, you know what to do. So thank you guys as always for being awesome. Thank you.